Hello everyone, today's episode of Fix It Friday will be covering wheel truing. So why might we need to true a wheel? On this bike, you can see if we give it a spin, the rim is hitting the brake every once in a while. This tells us it's a wheel issue because if it were a brake issue it would always be rubbing, but this is just bouncing around. You can even see it wiggling. There's a lot of reasons we might need to true a wheel. Hitting a bump too aggressively might knock it out of place. Spoke tension can reduce over time, but it's actually an easy fix even though it might seem like something is really wrong with your rim. So we'll need to take off the wheel to true it. First things first, we'll have to undo our brake just to make sure that the tire can slip through our pads. And then we'll undo our quick release lever on this bike, give it a turn, loosen it up, and drop it out of our frame. To true our wheel, we have this special tool called a truing stand. It uses these prongs as a reference to see how straight our wheel is, and then we'll use these spoke wrenches to adjust the tension in our spokes and then change how straight our rim is. So in order to set this up in the truing stand, we need to open up these arms here, and we want to adjust them so that they rest on the axle but allow it to freely spin. And I'll just snug them up, make sure that the wheel's not going to shift on us. That way our reference stays the same. So next step, we'll need to set up this arm. What we have to do, we want these to align with our rim so we can move it up and down. We're just going to want it to be in line with the braking surface of our rim. So we'll give our wheel a spin. We want to move this arm into the rim just until one part hits it. So I'm just moving it slowly, and right there it starts to hit that arm. That's going to be the part of our wheel that is most out of true. So now that we know where our worst part is, we can go ahead and adjust the spoke tension to actually pull it straight. So you can see that our spokes alternate sides. So one side's pulling to the left, one side's pulling to the right. By adjusting the tension in those spokes, we can shift the wheel either way. So when we've isolated the part of our wheel that is most out of true, we can go ahead and try to adjust the spoke tension to pull it to one way or the other. With this wheel, the rim is touching the left side, so we'll want to be pulling it to the right to help center it out. Like stated before, since the spokes alternate sides, if we tighten the spokes on the right side, in this case, we can pull the wheel to the right, or vice versa, loosening those spokes will let it go to the left. We can do the opposite on the left side of the spoke, so if we tighten the left side, it will pull it to the left. If we loosen, it will let it go to the right. When we've found our maximum bend in our wheel, we can go ahead and try to adjust the spokes. So you can see in this case, since it's hitting the left, we'll want to tighten this spoke, maybe loosen these spokes, and shift the wheel to the right. So in order to tighten this spoke, these nipples are threaded onto the spoke. So if we turn it clockwise when looking into the wheel, it's just going to be like righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So looking into the wheel, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, that will help us make the adjustment of our spoke nipples. So by tightening this spoke, you can actually see the rim move away from our adjusting arm. So after eliminating one wobble in the wheel, we can move on to others, and it's just the same process of tightening and loosening spokes. We can kind of make that decision if one of our spokes feels really tight and another is kind of loose. We don't want it to be too wobbly, then we might tighten the loose spokes, loosen the tighter spokes, and we can just repeat that process for the whole wheel until we've got it straight. So earlier I was turning the spoke nipple a lot just to show how the wheel can move, but when we're making adjustments, we really only want to do about a quarter turn at a time, check that adjustment, move on to the next part of the wheel, and just do that slowly but steadily. So if you don't have one of these real expensive truing stands and you're just wanting to make your wheel work a little bit better, you can actually do it on the bike, just less precisely. And it's the same process as on the truing stand, tightening and loosening the spokes. But instead of using the truing stand as a reference, you can actually use your pads. So taking a look at it, you might see the wobble and you can just kind of stop it wherever you find that wobble and adjust it from there. It won't be as good, but it might help you to fix any brakes that are rubbing on your rim, or just get you by for a little bit. Thanks for watching Fix It Friday. We'll see you later.